how's it going?
I'm good. Shaun McCardell with Design Inc.
Yeah.
Dylan with Upstate Merch.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
So we were here, what, how long ago was it that we were here last?
Over a year, I think, right?
About a year ago?
About a year.
So?
Yeah,
About a year ago.
Yeah, so we went through and saw all the screen printing stuff.
Okay.
And then you guys added digital, so.
Yeah, we've been adding digital slowly. We put the digital squeegee in. God, that was just before COVID hit, and we didn't know what we were doing with it, and it kind of sat dormant. And we thought we knew what we were doing, and now we've changed it. We're now buying a whole new press to put that on, and we're really gonna up our game.
Dedicate an area for it?
Well, we're in survival mode for 2 years, like everybody else was. So you kind of just, you know, what I've learned about digital in the last 5 months has changed my view completely on it. I mean, we run a whole digital side for our screen printing, and not for our screen printing, for our stickers and signs and coasters and that whole side of it. And that's pretty simple, but to get my mindset changed around digital screen printing, it was a game changer. I think if you're in the digital world to begin with, i.e. an Amazon or Fanatic, somebody who's already doing it, I think to go from a Cornette or from a Maverick to the Polaris probably is a very easy step.
Right.
But to go from being a screen printer to the Polaris,
Big difference.
it's your mindset has to be different.
Right.
You just, and we were prime examples. We made the wrong, we were headstrong. You know, screen printers they're kind of stubborn. They think they know everything.
Kind of stubborn.
and what I learned.
We say we can print everything.
And what I learned is that they talked us to going back to Chicago for 4 days, and it was the best 4 days we spent. I think like I was telling them, Chris, and that anybody that buys a Polaris that's a screen printer, and if they need to hear from somebody who's a big enough shop that means something, they need to take 3 days and go back there before the install of the machine happens. It is almost, and I didn't believe it. I'm like, we can do that, sure. Done this a million times. I've been doing this for 40 years. Don't tell me what I need to do. Digital's different.
It is.
Because you need to understand baselines. That's what I think changed from me. Screen printing, you have so many variables that you're in control of. Squeegee angles, you can, thin the inks, you can do this, you can do that. But in the digital world, you hit print and it's either too much pre-treated and not enough ink, or vice versa, and you got to keep your costs down as a screen printer. And to figure out your baseline, we had to go work with Michelle and dive deep into it to understand, so that when we came back and started experimenting, we had to throw everything we've known for years and years away.
A lot of it's like there's less stop gaps between getting to the point where you produce a product, right? There's less flags you can trip, right?
Yeah.
With screen printing, you can catch it at the screen phase. You can catch it sometimes if you do films. You catch it at the film phase. You catch it at the separation phase. With direct, there isn't all those catches. So people just they push print and they're like, oh no, So it's important to do it at the art phase a lot of times, or you do it at almost like a pre-prep phase. You're doing the art, and you stage it all on garments digitally more, And it's like you can do your layouts. You guys do a lot of that anyways, because you do a lot of staging. But with digital, it's so immediate. It's like you want to know you got to nail everything. Like, just get the size exactly right for the size of the shirt. Right?
I think the hard thing was we were ready to set up and run. We just ordered another gauntlet. We just ordered another Challenger. I need to make money. Let's get this thing going. And we've really just in the last 2 weeks started running jobs on it, just barely. And
what did you end up doing with the shop? Did you change things as far as layout for like a digital section and a screen printing section?
Well, we can go back there and look. I've laid the shop out to do so if I need to section it off.
Right.
But we're not having any problems. We're running pretty good with the humidity that we're dumping into it. It's at the end of my screen printing facility, and we're moving our digital squeegee down there, I think, first of next month. Our other press is coming in, and they're gonna take it off of our striker and move it down there, and then we're gonna turn our striker into a full 16 color press.
So what press are you getting, and what are you putting on? Do you remember?
It's a 14 gauntlet.
Oh, it's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'd be good. You want to go look?
Yeah,
at it?
yeah, I want to check it out.
Let's go take a look.
Because that's my
Okay.
my factor as a screen printer is I'm thinking about getting digital squeegee because I'm doing a ton of prints that are like 8, 12, 14 colors all the time. So that's why I'm kind of like,
Well, I think that's a great
do I
point,
do the changeover?
because it is the art a lot of times that drives the digital. It's the
But
art
I'm
and
also in the
customer
same
mind.
realm as you, is I want to make sure that the quality is the same for customers. I don't want to be like, well, digital's here and then screen printing's here.
And I had to answer that for you. It's different. We're now. I'm going at it differently now. We're going to sample everything on the digital, and then how do I say dummy down the art for screen printing to look like the digital? So I can't make digital look like the screen print if I sample screen printing first.
Right.
But it's going to be much easier for us because I think there's more variables on the screen printing side that we can change colors in the PMSs or mesh counts, or we can do some different things to be cut closer to the digital.
That makes sense.
No, it does. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'd love to check it out.
We'll go upstairs first.
Cool. Yeah.
So this is just sampling lines, getting things ready to go. So you can see what we print. It's all,
A lot of name drops and stuff.
it's a lot, and it fits digital squeegee almost perfectly, and that's what frustrates M&R. Why aren't you running more digital squeegees? Well, I'm
Right,
still trying to get myself out of the mud and into the new future.
Well, it is. I mean, hybrid is a little bit. It's different. Like it's a different development process for the artwork, right? You think differently as an artist. So I mean, we've worked with people on that, and it really helps. Like you said, going down to headquarters and seeing Michelle and seeing some of the innovation team and seeing how you can do different types of developments really helps the artists.
That's that whole stack, pretty much. I'd say all of that, this, most of this. This is all from my trip to M&R. I mean, this is her sampling. We're doing 8 passes on it, because we had to get it to work on our custom-made garments overseas. So to get that with wash testing to make sure we weren't getting the stain from the, and every product's different. I can't believe how every product's different. It's really,
It's important to do all that testing.
yeah. I mean, you can see we have 4 days of just in deep testing that she did.
Yeah. It was great though. The products.
And when we dial it down, like this is our kind of our. You can see the 2 design. I mean, so that's one of our that's done on the Polaris,
Yeah.
and that's the same print on a whole nother color on the Polaris.
Yeah.
We were excited when we saw that.
Oh yeah.
That took a long time to get to not have.
Yep. But that has a really nice
Oh yeah.
presentation. The presentation's excellent. Yeah. It's really good. And then for you guys, I mean, I could see at some point where integrate it, if you have the right art for the right area, then you can rapidly reproduce prototyping. Prototyping could be a lot.
Our sampling will be quicker, and we're kind of running this. Our pre-season orders will go in and be screen printed. The reorders, we're thinking Polaris. Kind of how we're dividing up beneath point.
Now, are you taking designs like this and just changing out this for different places you're selling to? or-
And on a screen printing press, that's a lot of, now we're overprinting it. We'll overprint on a screen printing press, but it's a lot of changing of screens.
Right.
On the digital, we can just run this. That's why we're so excited.
Right,
about it.
right.
We're
That's
gonna
what I'm
be able
saying.
just
It makes
to
a
run.
lot of sense.
When you can do scripts too as well on the art side where you just literally output 40. You know what I mean? Where instead of just doing it going all the way to a print, you can output 40 of these and then just have 40, as you said, JSON files for different locations.
Yes.
So you literally can produce a finished copy for each and send it out in a box versus, having to go through all the screens and all the setup and all the inks and everything. So,
And we're really we've been building our own software forever, and so right now we're diving in, and we're telling every JSON it is this product, this color, and when it gets this kind of art, this is what it gets. And so when they scan the barcode, it'll bring up all of the things it needs to know and how many units are on the work order. So we're kind of already a full production back-end artwork or program that we've got. So we're just now writing program to mesh with the Polaris.
That's great. Do you feel like there's one thing that kind of made you decide, yeah, I need to take digital serious? Was there something that sticks out in your mind, or was it just a slow kind of pressure that builds over time? Like you feel like
I've watched digital for years. With Rich when he was building some of the first machines and blowing through $3,000 heads in 10 minutes. And then, from Corny to all of them. And I just never thought it would ever take the place of screen printing. And when I saw the Polaris samples that Nicole and them sent to me, I'm like, if you did this off of a digital printer, I need to get serious about this, because this looks screen printed. This has a better feel than screen printing. And if you can hit the numbers you say you're hitting and you can do all that, it does not fit my business model 100%. M&R has been very good about understanding what we're trying to mesh it into, and we're not that e-commerce. We're going to grow into that, and that is a direction that we definitely need to go. But right now we're in that resort industry, and so it's not an easy fit, but I knew if I'm going to be in the business all 4 of my sons now work for me, and they, if it's going to be in an existing business for them for the next 20 years, then I have to be up to speed on what technology is. And so it'd been much easier and much cheaper for me to buy a couple more presses and just keep doing what I do. But that's not going to be the future. It's just not. If you're going to be in this industry, I think
your competitor does it before you do.
Yes. And when your competitor does it, then you're like, oh, I guess it's okay to do, versus be the leader. And it's painful. There's no question about it. Especially if you're a screen printer, our mindsets are just so much. Ours was so much different. We went in there kind of headstrong, and we had to completely almost forget everything we knew and go in there and be trained like newbies. And it changed the way we approached it, and we've been much more successful at it.
That's awesome. I'd love to see how you got it set up down there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll go down and down.
Thanks.
So you said you were going to be running samples. How many samples did you have to run?
Well, we typically tie up one of our automatics full time 7 months of the year sampling.
Oh, really?
And we think we can do our entire sample load, if all the art was done, in 3 days on the Polaris.
Because you can just print.
Because you can just print.
You're not setting up.
No.
Because most of your time in those 7 months is setups.
It is.
Well, that's a sell by itself.
It is. Well, that's the other, as long as we can match that print on the screen print side when the big 1,000 or 2,000 piece runs come in, then we'll be happy with that.
Right. So you got DS over here.
So this is the digital squeegee,
Yeah.
and we're going to leave this press here and move the squeegee down to the new one.
So you're going to try to keep digital over there.
Uh-huh. And we did that because if I do need to wall it off, it's easier to start with 3 walls than it is in the middle of the shop.
Yeah.
And we're going to put in that online e-commerce individual packaging, shipping onesie twosie, where this side of the shop is not built that way. It's built all on.
He's messing with some stuff on this one right now.
I don't know. Yeah, he's probably just setting up. I don't think there's even running a digital squeegee. I think he's just running that as a regular screen printing for us right now. As you can see in my industry, we spend more time setting up and tearing down than I do running.
Right.
I mean, you can look at the end of all the belts.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's kind of my problem is on that press. Not that I don't mind setting up and doing what we're doing, and I'm not like hurting for time. It's just can I keep quality but also save on screens and time? And there are those jobs where you're like, yeah, I could print this as a 14 color and play with seps over and over to get it to look just right, like someone's face, or can I just digitally print it and that headache goes away.
Talking about getting into e-commerce, you're talking about getting into e-commerce for like people on location, if they're visiting a park or something, they want to get a shirt, they can log in and get it through you, or you're more e-commerce for your other customers, like in between businesses?
Right now, my goal for e-commerce is we probably have a library of 50,000 to 100,000 designs that are no longer being utilized.
Right.
We create 3,000 to 5,000 designs every 2 months. And so, and of those, our customers only pick a handful.
Yeah.
And so we're just thinking of going on and creating our own e-commerce site and releasing those designs to the general public and printing them as one-offs and shipping them.
Yeah, let people upload and pick. And
Yep.
let people buy
And so
them.
we're going to give it, we're going to let them put their own name drop in there if they want to go in and put, family reunion at Grand Tetons or whatever.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We're a lot like what everybody else, the Zazzles and the custom inks of the world, but we have our own content, so that's one thing I don't have to go pay for or generate or
you
pay
just load it
royalties. We're just going to load it up.
You've
and
already
run.
got it.
We already own it.
That's great.
So
That's
we
exciting.
hope that that'll be a good business for us.
Yeah,
Sounds exciting.
That was
I
our-
can see it. I can see it. So you got your Polaris is set up here.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that's going to feed into this one, right?
Yeah, the Polaris feeds into here, and then right on the other side of the dryer, it is all pre-wired and plumbed and ready to go for the second Polaris.
Yeah.
But right now, the new Gauntlet's going to go there with the Digital Squeegee.
Right.
And then if everything grows the way we want to grow it, we'll blow this wall out a section.
Right.
We'll take the Digital Squeegee, we'll put 2 of those over here and put the Polaris. It's already wired. I've already got everything ready to go for the other Polaris right there.
Yep.
These jobs came off the digital. So, we're taking high-end images, but they only want a few. Well, that's
Right.
a screen printing nightmare.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. What kind of water.
Not only setting up, but just dialing it in.
Uh-huh.
When you get it dialed, you print 10 shirts, and you're like, cool, let's tear it down. And do the next one.
And you can see there's not very many shirts there.
Right.
Yeah, and it's the watercolor kind of washed out look is very tough. If you get that game, that dot game, it's sweet.
Yeah, this makes a lot more sense for you, for sure, for all, even just the sample runs.
It does. It really does. We're excited. I was disappointed at first, and that's because I had the screen printing mentality.
Right.
And they really wined and dined me. They took good care of me, came out here, maybe, Danny flew out completely unannounced and came here, and he just said, Shaun, I'm gonna bring you to Chicago and you bring your team, and it was a game changer.
Yeah.
It was a game changer. Well, I'm biased. As you can tell, my shop's all blue, including my poles. But I've been down all the other industries. I've owned a lot of, and I don't care if you're thinking about getting a press or a digital press. I don't care what you're looking at. You have to look at relationships in a company. And for 40 years, when I switched to M&R, parts, service, phone calls. Somebody else can sell the best piece of equipment in the world, but if they can't give me a part or can't service it or are not there as a partner, it's irrelevant. And I am biased to the blue. M&R they have treated me like a king from my very first Alpha. That was my first press I bought. This is the Alpha. And all the way through, I think we just bought our 17th press, plus our Digital Squeegee and now our Polaris. And M&R has not missed a boat, from my phone calls to my expressing my frustrations. Listening to me when I'm angry. They listen, they don't, if you're looking at getting in, growing, or changing, you got to look at your partner who you're in business with. And M&R, in my opinion, there's nobody can compete with.